Hi there, it's me, the girl, back with another recap, a monthly recap. And if you really were like, what's your name though? You could actually go to the very first video in this playlist, in this book playlist, and I'll link the book playlist probably as a card, but you could go and find my name, like a little mystery hunt, right? Anyway, so here back with an August recap. So first off, what did I do in August book wise? I read 9 books, and I met my Goodreads challenge. So I hit the 100 books that I set for myself for 2020. So obviously we still have like 4 more months left. So I hope to finish many more. Anywho, let's get to it. So I'm gonna be reading off my ad device here. So first book I read in August. Sorry. First book I finished in the month of August was an audiobook. Listened to the audiobook for Guillermo del Toro's and Chuck Hogan's The Hollow Ones. And oh, it's like it kind of reads like a pilot episode for a supernatural cop thriller. It was set in New Jersey, and with very local landmarks being mentioned, so it felt very eerie in that sense. Um, but it was okay. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. I'm really just not. I'm feeling I'm drifting farther and farther away from like cop centric, law enforcement centric stories, unless they're done super well. Anyway, I ended up giving this one, I believe, a 3. Yeah, 3 stars out of 5. Next book I finished in the month of August was Tender is the Flesh, Agustina Basterica. This one creeped me out a lot. It was very like, yikes, people are terrible. This industry is terrible. People are callous. But then also the story was just like, what story? Huh? What was the solution? Where so it was just like, what? Anyway, it was very like creep eerie factor. So I believe I also gave this one, yes I do, yes I did, I also gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Next book I finished was The Seventh Perfection by Daniel Polanski. It's very much like playing a video game, and you know when you have to go up to the video game characters and NPCs and you have to ask them a question, and you don't hear the character voice when you select the question. You just select the question and you just get the answer back. That's kind of how the whole book was, and I enjoyed it for that reason. But also like the way the story was like wrapped was a bit like what. So anyway, I ended up giving this one a 4 out of 5, but I think it was a fun read. Next book I finished was The Patient by Jasper Dewitt. Another one that had, great build up, and then the ending just flopped for me. For me, it just like a complete flop. Like what? So, and towards the ending, it lost some of that believability that kept my disbelief sustained. So I also gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars. The fifth book, I finished in the month of August, and this was a comic book. It's The Transporter, I guess volume number 1, Nymph, by Tristan Rouleau, who wrote the script. I don't have the name of the illustrator right now, but Tristan Rouleau. I liked this one. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Secret beings of mysterious powers in a dystopian world. I think I've said all I need to say. Next book I finished was The Treasure of the Blue Whale by Stephen Mayfield. And nice little story of this town where local treasure spurs capitalistic greed. But it was a nice story. I enjoyed the storytelling and I enjoyed the writing. the story wasn't super crazy, but it was also like I very much enjoyed this book, so I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. That's Treasure of Blue Whale by Stephen Mayfield. The sixth book I finished in the month of August, and I believe this is the only book that earned this rating for me this month, was the mini edition, Fern's Mini, of by Moby Weinstein. It's a mini edition, I think, of the Complete World of Ferns. I think it's the original book. I once upon a time very much considered joining a fern society after visiting the Philadelphia horticultural show in Philadelphia, the PHS's flower show, the flower show, Philadelphia Flower Show is, and I didn't, nerves and other reasons, but I didn't. But also, I think at the time I was trying my hands with some ferns, and they just were not doing it for me. So I was just like, why would I jump to the Fern Society, even though it probably would have been fun, spend your life to the max. But this was fun. This book made it feel like ferns are something I could try again. Ferns are accessible. There's a variety of ferns that I would now like to be like, oh, I could grow that, of course, outdoors, not necessarily indoors. But I thought it was a solid book read, so I gave this one 5 stars. The next book, the 8th book, I finished. So far it's The Hollow Ones, Tenders the Flesh, The Seventh Perfection, The Patient, The Transporter, Treasure of the Blue Whale, Burns Mini. The 8th book I finished in the month of August was World Politics in 100 Words by Eleanor Levinson. I believe I gave this one 4 stars, and it was listed on NetGalley under children's fiction. But it's just, nice little read of little 100 blurbs, about 100 words, each no more than 100 words, about keywords in politics. And it's, world politics, but I think that's where it fell a bit short for me, because it didn't necessarily feel world politics. It felt more like Western politics looking at the world. There were some terms I would have expected from world politics, but we didn't get. So, 4 out of 5 stars regardless. I thought it was nice, and I feel like I learned some stuff after I read it. So, even not for children, it was a good read. And then finally, the last book I finished was Comanche by Brett Riley. I believe this is his debut album. I believe this is his debut novel, and I just finished this. Like, less than an hour to go until it was September 1st, and I finished it. I was happy. Maybe in my mind, maybe I had wanted to finish 2 books on that last day, but realistically, I was only finishing 1, and I knew it. I think I gave this 3 stars. I gave this 3 stars. This book, ghost town, Texas, Louisiana area, old Western ghost town, haunted, slighted ghost. Gotta fight the ghost in the present. So you're expecting, like, oh, we're gonna get all this crazy lore, and we're gonna have this big giant fighting effort that's gonna be very supernaturally involved. And yes, we had this big fighting scene, but it wasn't super crazy. It was like kind of a lot of the same. It was more like just a general battle war scene where it's just like, oh, we're coming from this side, oh, he's got us over to his side, oh, we're flanked, and then we finally did it, whatever. And then the supernatural was not as heavy as I wanted it to be. I wanted this deep reiteration of how this ghost was slighted and how this evil was done. Because if a ghost sticks around for hundreds of years targeting a family, I want to hear more about it. I want to hear why, how did they know him before they killed him so brutally? Anyway, so I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it had I gotten more supernatural lore, and had I gotten less mention of this man's one of the main characters, his griefs, or the main character, his grief for his wife. And it's like, I get that you are missing this person, and I get that maybe immediately after their death you sank deep into alcoholism. But it's been over a decade now, and you're still at the same. I know, or it's still so painful, and I don't know, and it was kind of just like I felt like it was more like, when are you finally gonna get over it, as opposed to like, how are we gonna get you to slowly move on and accept it, which should have been a thing earlier on, but I don't know. Anyway, I gave that one 3 stars. If you're looking for more of my thoughts on each of these books, I will have a link to a master blog post listed below. But until then, thanks for watching. I'm reading, I think currently I have 20 books on my currently reading list. Ideally, I would like to finish at least half of that. Hopefully I can finish more because a lot of them are holdovers from previous months. And a lot of them are only like 200 or so pages. So hopefully I finish a lot of books in the month of September. We are in September now. Yeah. Could I finish 50 more books by the end of this year in its 4 months? Probably. 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 I have, I think, 30-ish books, about 30-ish books on my NetGuide shelves right now, and I have a lot more that I've requested. So if a lot of them get approved, and I just read, I guess mostly, I probably could finish. But anyway, I'll leave my Goodreads. I'll leave my blog post. So, hit me up. Let me know if you've read any of these books and you have other thoughts about it. If you agree or you disagree, let's talk. Let's have a conversation in these comments. Anyway, thanks for watching and bye.